Well, this is the first time I've done this format.
Okay.
And so I want it to be pretty informal, because I was just thinking, oh man, it could just be great to just check in with different directors and see what's going well and what's not. Because I think that in the what's not, we can be like, oh, at least I'm not the only one. And in the what's going well, it's like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to start with saying, right now we're talking to Heidi Polzin in Minnewaska. What grades do you teach in Minnewaska?
I teach 5th grade through 12th grade. So I have
all band?
All bands. Yep. And so I have beginners all the way through the concert band and jazz band, which is elective morning ensemble.
And you got your coffee, you said, right? I got my Game of Thrones mug here.
Cheers. I will plug our local coffee shop while doing this, Gather.
All right. That's perfect. Gather. I'll have to stop in. I go through Minnewaska every once in a while.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this week. What have you encountered this week that's been difficult? What trials have you been put through this week?
Well, we had our first coronavirus case in one of my students, and that kid took down about 25 or so into quarantine. So you walk into class one day and all of a sudden there's 8 kids there. So that sort of have to modify instantly the plan for the day, no percussionists and no, this instrument and no that instrument. And so we're I, for the first time, sort of am really feeling an effect with that, with the case. So, always on the toes these days.
What age group was that?
That's high school. Mm-hmm.
So are you able to just adjust parts, like we're doing flex ensemble stuff? And
so at this point in time, I'm not doing a lot of flex ensemble stuff. I probably should be doing more, but we're sticking with the music we want to play and learning the parts and then trying to put it together. So my high school ensembles are pretty small. So I would be able to fit them on our auditorium stage, spread out and play. And so I'm really hoping that we could somehow get something together at some point this year to either record or bring in just, 1 or 2 parents or something. So I'm kind of sticking with it. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I don't own a ton of flex stuff. So part of it's then just shy to spend money this year a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's hard to play with like no tuba, one day. And then the flip side of it, I have seen the kids kind of have to step into their own. So the kid that usually hides behind the 4 other clarinets and, is just there, all of a sudden is like the only one there that day. Yeah. So I am seeing it's taken a while of a lot of fear to overcome, but they're kind of blossoming into this like, okay, well, I can be a leader of a player. So it's awkward rehearsals with missing parts, but
yeah, but even with the flex ensembles, I'm getting that. And we're doing a mixed bag. Like I've got a couple legit, I don't like to say legit because I think the flex stuff is legit too, but some traditional, maybe I'll say that, traditionally scored and the flex ensembles. And they both they can work, both work. Mm-hmm. But I experienced the same things like today with flex ensembles, like, oh, we're missing voice 3. There's nobody with voice 3. So either I play it or we just are missing it. And I would say overall, I'm curious what your feelings are. Like my kids, we still have some down days, but for the most part, they're just happy to be there playing music together. What are your experiences with that?
I agree. Yeah. And one, depending on the age level, some of our age levels here, they have in cohorts. So they're going around and they're not mixing with that many other kids in their grade. So sometimes when they come to band, like this is the only time they see some of these people. So one, they're excited socially to be there, but they want to play. I made the wrong call at the beginning of the year. I thought this year's going to be tough. They're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to have a lot to do. Let's keep the band room fun and lights. We started with pep band and we'll kind of play some easy stuff so it comes together, but so we're just playing. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong because that's not my personality in teaching. I'm kind of but let's get better. And it didn't feel right to me either. And that wasn't the case. Pretty much most of the levels, like they're still themselves and they still want high expectations and they still want to be challenged and they still want to overcome those challenges. And so we're kind of falling back into a pattern now of like, nope, that part's missing. That's fine. Count your part better, and let's keep going. We're going to go forward with this. So my
Yeah.
skin tests are back. Like everything's just coming back in sort of the speed that I like to work. And it feels better, I think, for everybody to be in that normalcy a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm having, my problem is that I am about half of my students in each ensemble are also in choir. It's just something that we allow. And so I only get them for 25 minutes twice a week.
Yep.
And that's, boy, it's brutal. That 25 minutes is so hard to do, like tech work and then work on music. So yeah. And so you said the same thing?
So we have the same situation for our 9th and 10th grade ensemble. So what we had done originally first was said, I'll take, they go to like the first half of the week, they have choir for the full, and then the second half of the week, they have band for the full day. But I was only seeing them one time a week, and then one time a week. And then if a kid, forgot their instrument or something, it was 2 weeks before I saw them. So the progress was just really, it was hard to get momentum, like when you get something and then you have the next day of rehearsal, so you do it again, so it sticks. Like I couldn't do that. And so finally we decided to change to do what you're doing, which is the split. I'm a lot happier. I'm not sure if the kids are, because what I've done at least this week is like, okay, honing in on, listen, we need to work on this rhythm set. So we're pulling out a method book, and in that 25 minutes I have, 15 of it is fundamentals. And then we kind of play some music, and then they go on. And that will vary based on what we're doing. But for right now, I thought, okay, well, we're going to get through fundamentals, because at the end of this, we want you to be a high school band, right? So that's the focus. And I can tell now after this week, they're like, so we have to shift the balance of that as time goes on. But at least in their mouth more than once a week. And I know that because if they're not practicing at home.
Yeah. And I think that I'm very similar. Like we're doing about 15 minutes of fundamentals and 10 minutes or so of music. My bigger concern, like I actually don't care what they're playing, because we're doing Pirates of the Caribbean in one of the groups, and I let the kids have some say in that. I just want them, and when they're there for 25 minutes, or the kids that are there for 50, I want them playing the whole time. Like, so we just try to play and play and play, because that's more important to me right now. So yeah, it's interesting that we have similar situations. Anything like, I hope I'm not stealing this from you. We can maybe just talk about how awesome it was if you tried it. Anything like Among Us? I did that this week with kids, and we had such a great time. Do you have any ideas like that, or do you want to talk about Among Us?
No, I haven't done it. I prepped them all that we're doing it next week. So I said, hey, who plays Among Us? I said, we're playing Among Us band. And then, my middle school kids are like, we're killing each other off in band? Like, like now I feel like I maybe built it up wrong. And they're gonna be like, oh, this is all it is or something. But the favorite game in my class for most levels is, I call it Hide the Golden Snitch, because I have a old mouthpiece cover, like old saxophone mouthpiece cover that's gold. And so that's why I call it that. And last year, I name my practice rooms every year. Last year, they were the Harry Potter houses. So it became the Golden Snitch. That's the only reason. What we do is we take the Golden Snitch, we send one person out, shut the door, and someone hides it. The rule, it has to be visible, because it's actually harder than you think to find it. So they hide it somewhere around the room, and the person comes back in, and they stand in the middle of the room, and we choose whatever pitch we're going to play, concert B flat, and then it's hot and cold. So they play louder the closer they are to it, and quieter the further away they are from it. So they're playing long tones, they don't realize. They're working on nuance of dynamics, they don't realize. And they just laugh and have fun. And so they're playing super loud. And my percussion, usually I let them like, hey, pick an instrument that you want to do this on most of the time, because they have fun just trying something new. And I've done this with all ages, and they all love it. And it's such a silly game. So we usually, 10 minutes. Well, today we did it for 10 or 15 minutes because it's, Halloween tomorrow. So we're doing something fun. So that is certainly a favorite in our room.
Yeah. I think you told me about that idea when we first met, like last year. And I took it, and I did the same thing. I played it with 5th graders. I played it with 12th graders, and to varying levels, like they really like it. Like the seniors liked it, and they were thoughtful, about how well they were playing. The fifth graders, I remember we actually had to reverse it so that
Yeah.
as the person got closer, they played softer.
Yeah.
Because we had like 110 kids in the room, and it was like, I mean, our ears were going to start bleeding pretty soon if we.
Oh, no. So I'm strange, maybe. I don't teach dynamics to my fifth graders at all. No dynamics. Piano, forte, none in their books. Now they know them because we have awesome general music teachers here. And
Yeah.
sometimes we get there and they're like, doesn't this mean this? I'm like, yep, just keep playing for now. Now in sixth grade, now we're teaching dynamics because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like when they start to try to play too quiet and they haven't really developed the right muscles and air support, that sometimes they can find a spot that they kind of like and it's not correct. So we play full, I mean, I don't say loud, I just say strong sound. We just play in fifth grade everything that we do with no dynamics. And then now in sixth grade, now when we've tried it, now we can play that game in sixth grade. And they're able to really come down in a crescendo because they have, they have the more control of their face and their body. That's what I do. I don't know if that's a big or not, but
I think that's super sound reasoning. I've had similar thoughts with fifth grade too. Is like I am careful around soft dynamics because my big thing is breath support, and like they have to learn how to have breath support before they can play soft. So fantastic. So anything you're looking forward to in the next week? Anything coming up for you guys?
Well, we are going to try Among Us next week.
Yes. And I'll say anybody that hasn't, like, not the app game. I mean, it's based on that, but any music teachers out there, essentially it's a game where you have 2 or 3 kids in the room that are purposely playing things wrong, and you're trying to find them. And it's fun and it engages their ears. I've done it with 6th graders and through 12th grade now, and we've had a blast with it.
So what did you use?
Well, I wrote it on cards, and I feel a little bit like they're kind of not the most sanitary things. So I wrote crew and imposter on cards, and I handed them out. I did warn the kids.
Did they play scales or concert music?
Oh, yeah. So I tried a few different things. The concert music really isn't there. Like, it would be really hard to find the imposter because
you're all imposters.
Yeah, that's what actually happened today when we started after that game. I'm like, do you guys all have cards? No, so we mostly exercises that they're like this first time around that they're comfortable with. And the idea they like the game, I'm going to do carrot on the stick and, like go, oh, hey, let's get this going really good so we can play imposter with it.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll do. Yeah, you're going to have fun with it. But it took over that tech time for me. So just a little heads up, it took about 15 minutes because I had to explain the game and, find exercises that worked. And but I was okay with that today. Like we just had a lot of fun. So. Yeah.
My classes are pretty small because of all this split. So they might be able to find it faster, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
this week, we made recordings this past week for our Veterans Day program. So we just did an Armed Forces medley and Star Spangled Banner, and they will be putting that video and getting it out here in this next week or so. So I'm excited to be able to kind of see and hear that. And I made the kids come early in the morning in full concert dress, and I think they just were really professional about it and really mature, and I'm excited for them to be able to watch it because I think it's just a reminder, like, okay, what we do has purpose and we give back in certain ways, and being meticulous and professional is still important even in this crazy time.
Yeah, I mean we're a week behind you. We're recording on Thursday this next week, and when I told the kids we're actually allowed to bring in we're in hybrid right now, so I only have half the kids in the room, but they're allowing us to bring kids in to one of the groups to record all together, socially distanced in the auditorium. And when I told the gold group that, hey, you guys are going to come in on a Maroon Day, we're going to have a full rehearsal, it wasn't like, oh, do we have to come? It was like electricity, like, oh, like we get to be together, we get to make music together. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
It showed, it'll be interesting. You'll have to follow up with me because when I put the full band together, we'd only rehearsed it half and half, but like I said before, people kind of had to step into their role when there's so much missing. So that when it got together, I feel like individually, everybody was more confident in their part. And it was just really awesome to hear it all together. I mean, also a little bit sad to know that we could have been doing that every single day this year, but
Yeah. Well, and your community's going to love it. You know, like they're hungry for that stuff too.
yeah,
And you've
yeah,
got such a big arts community right there in Minnewaska. So big supporters
yeah.
of music.
Very supportive. Very supportive. We're super lucky.
Well, Heidi, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having coffee with you.
Cheers.
Maybe, maybe down the road we can make it a non-virtual cup.
Done.